Work is this number I'm at for. And also very tired. So, we're doing Satisfactory. Satisfactory. I might just, if I feel good enough about the stinking stream today, I might just upload it raw. Straight up normal old crap. But I'm going to go ahead and do some stuff. I didn't stream yesterday. Lozana kept me up all night pooping. So how was your night? Last night, or the night before last night? Last night was actually pretty decent for me. I just didn't get sleep. I didn't really not get sleep, but I didn't really get sleep. Ernan woke me up 30 minutes before, not 30 minutes, but like 3 minutes before my alarm went off. Things like that. Turn back on Avatar. You are the last Avatar. Yeah, I can't do a second version of a stupid Avatar theme. Good morning. So today, I've done math yesterday, and by yesterday I mean the day before yesterday. But I did math. I did a bunch of math. And I also got a bunch of stuff. So, not really a bunch of stuff that's like random stuff, but I did get a few blueprints in the background. I try and make things easier. I guess I'm gonna work on steel first, guys, because that seems easier than the massive floorboard that's over there, ready to be filled. Oh yes, I also hooked up the quartz, as you can see. Nobody's gonna notice it, right? It's pretty minute. The quartz and the limestone track all the way to the basic materials factory. Yeah, no one's noticing that. Nobody's knowing about it. I'm just gonna see it. Okay, stop freaking out. Anyway, so I did math. I got the copper iron alloy for ingots, because that's the biggest iron producer. So I did the math here. I will have 480 iron. That is the rate of which material moves on a Mark IV. So since I basically just limited it by the maximum capacity of my current maximum capacity machines, my conveyors, I will need 480 iron per minute. That will take 240 copper and 24 foundries, which are obviously going to be simplistic to add to this jurisdiction, for 900 iron per minute. So of course I'm going to cut that up into different sections. Probably 4, because that would be 225, 225, 225, and 225. Because 450 would be half of this. So 225 would be half of 450. So 4 lines at 220 or 225 would be fully within the spec of even a Mark II belt. Well, I mean, is it 480 as far as? Yeah, so I could just handle it with 2 belts. It'd be fine. Of course I could handle that with a compressed belt and a non-compressed belt. That's beside the point. By the way, though, because we're using foundries instead of, what are they called? Refiners? Because we're using refineries, because instead of this, we are using this, that should actually prevent a large amount of the problems that were caused by the lack of space up here. And since this produces more, even though it takes up less space, it should end out with a superior product. The only other thing that I want to do here is try and aim for bolted plates, because bolted plates looks pretty good. But unfortunately, I don't have bolted plates to my knowledge. I don't see bolted plates anywhere. I see a bunch of other things, but I don't see bolted plates. I see, like, this is stitched iron plates. But bolted plates, this is steel cast plates. This is quick wire cable. And also the plastic cast plates, or coated iron plates, whatever. But bolted plates is effectively just the normal plates recipe, the reinforced plates recipe. But instead, it just is already power charted, so power charting over that, it goes some distance. So let's go. So I did math. We will need 6 lines of 4. That will simplify things. As far as the actual design phase goes, but that also complicates some other things. So how do I want to handle this? I think I want to have this in inverse, so it'll go in towards the center since it's about to be synced up. Now then, iron ingot, we're going to cut this down to 50%. That way, it matches the math. Because I did the math for 50%, not the math for 100%. Otherwise, this would be way more manageable. No one wants that. So that's it right there. That's the first line of 4. Then we're going to go ahead to grab 10. Is that aiming in the same direction? That does seem to be aiming in the same direction. Okay. Same direction, same direction. Two, three, 4. I could just have a gap. And then continue on this direction. Or somebody doesn't check the recipe to make sure that there's no problems. Why would there be any problems? Ugh. Gosh, I'm tired. Happy July. Happy July. What did I comment back to my mom? I think I commented something back to my mom. Was I thinking idiot? Can't remember. So I look at my community thing. Under play. Yeah, I wasn't stupid. I didn't be stupid. I should probably tell Mom that I'm streaming. Give her a quick heads up. but I don't know how much I care. I'm tired anyway. I'm sleepy for no good reason. Let's see, we got that. Nice little wee bit of cleanup here. Bunch of concrete in my inventory just in case I need it. Now a bunch of these things because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need those. That should handle that. So yeah, did I? Yeah, I remember turning it back on. So like while I was doing the bulk work for that, which the floor is finished by the way. Like I finished up that entire floor thing. But while I was doing the bulk work for that and that, I turned off that button that does the internal inventory before the depot inventory. Because usually it's annoying to have the depot inventory drain first, just in case you're in the middle of managing something. But since I got concrete automated and the bulk work of that was concrete, I felt like it was a wise decision. And that was the whole point. It was like a whole bunch of concrete. You know, I can also try and transport the SAM ore from there to here, but first priority is trying to figure out the iron so that the steel can actually be produced to scale. Looks correct. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Yep, seems about right. Two, three, four. There we go. That's 2 lines of 8. We need 6. Or no, we need 2 lines of 6. Now that I have like snap and control and like mass dismantle and right click, I'm actually feeling pretty good about it. It's way less uncomfortable. Okay, so that's 8 lines. So if I just hook up all of these, because like I could do a modular system and that'd be nice and basic and it'd look nice and all that stuff, but I'd like to try to do what I've done for the past few times, which is the power loading. Now I've hooked this structure into this structure because I felt like that'd be a good idea. And I'm realizing what my mistake was there. That probably should not have been done. But here we are. Okay, so how do I want to handle this? Because, like... Oh dear. Hmm. We want it to come up here. And then we want it to be broken down into these different sections. Which I can pull off, but it'd be really annoying currently. So... So... 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's 4 lights. Sorry, I'm trying to manually count them. I know not the wisest of decisions at these periods of time, but whatever. You know what, just to mark it as different. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. So we've got what we want out of this. 6 lines of 4. I could rearrange them sideways. I don't know how much utility that would bring me, but that would be pretty decent for breaking down one of the lines. Because, like, if I pressurize one of the lines, So, let's see. 450, and the max is 480, am I right? Yes, 480. So, since each one of these individually... And whatever. Whatever. It's too much mass. It's not really too much math, I'm just actively speaking whining, but... I'm thinking on this. I've chopped this into 2 different parts, separated those parts out into 3, and then split them up top. That might be able to do the trick, but... that still need 2 separations at some point. Those 2 divisions are going to cause complications, because I can't just have, like, a splitter where... or a vertical splitter where, like, one part's up, one part's down. I'm trying to organize this vertically. Also, I'm wasting a bunch of space in this direction, which is kind of stupid when I'm having a problem of needing this direction to get into these bases. So I think I gotta change the design here and switch this to be this direction. Apparently monkeys have opinions on where I put my splitters and crap and my foundries. Okay, so let's bring this over about here. One, two, three, four. A lot of wasted space in that direction, but I don't really mind that. Okay, so this was placed properly. This was placed based off of that placement. There we go. So with that noted, this is at the corner into the edge. I could send it forward, but why send it forward when backwards also an option? This way we have space on both ends. And it should be fully hooking up. This will make it more complicated, but when have I been simple? Okay. I think that's actually a pretty good way of handling it. Oh wow, look, they line up. That's so awesome. Okay, I could line up the inputs with the outputs. Sorry, I changed my camera angle. Oh, that's useful. I could try and separate out the outputs downstairs. Let the spaghetti be underneath and then break it down from above, but meh. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Ooh. Do I really need? No. That's a nice little quick pickup that I can just do. I thought I reloaded that. Also, my explosive rods are fully automated and fixed now. They were not fixed before, but I did fix them. Apparently, some idiot forgot to plug in the smokeless powder. Don't know who that be, but something that happened apparently. So, how did I handle this? Oh, what's wrong with my car? So, if I... That looks pretty good. A little bit off. Pretty much straight. What's the distance? I left one clear. Okay, so let's go back one. Seems in the clear. Seems pretty good. Orientation seems buggy recently, but that's beside the point. So 6 rows of 4, 4 rows of 6. I guess I could also split it into... Well, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I can have this line be a pressurizer for this line and that line. That line I'm still going to move over to, like, here and hook it up all nice and proper. But I can use this line to pressurize those two, and then the overflow line will be the insufficient line. I could also use this line to pressurize those two, which should make more sense. Maybe I should color the lines. Yeah, I'll color the lines. So, let's try and make sense here. Let's be reasonable about this. Let's be reasonable. Let's be proportional. You know what I mean? Nice, hefty proportions. An American classic. Okay, so let's color the lines. So, of course I could set it up where these are actually inverse lines and then leave those thinking out ones are crap, but what I'm currently doing, let's say this is line 1. Let's say that this is line 2. And let's say, sorry, I was using that for crude oil. Let's just be serious about that. Actually, no. Take that back. I do fail to see where the secondary color is. That's slightly disappointing, but either way. Quick swash. I just fail to see where the actual color's coming in. Like, there's supposed to be green here, but all I see is red and gray. Just one of those thinking, and don't get mouthy. Don't get mouthy. Let's get that all fixed up. So, yellow is line 2, green is line 1, red is line 3. Remember that this is where things get complicated. That's output, that's output, that's input, which is what we want. That lines up, and that lines up. There we go. So line 4, or not line 4, line 3, line 2, and line 1. Now, 6 lines of 4 means the amount of lines that I'm going to need to do that are just the factory lines, so that it's small enough that when I actually, like, do the, like, breakdown part, it looks somewhat reasonably appreciable. If I don't do that, that's not as much of an insurance. That's not so insured. But adding to that, when it comes down to these four or these three super lines, they can fully compress, meaning that we can take everything from this line and add it to this line here. So this line and this line can combine without having complications. This line and this line can combine without having complication. But if we combine both of these lines here, then there would be access. But if we combine all of the lines, there would only be enough access for another line, one singular line. So what we can do is we can try and combine one of the lines here with this line, and then combine the access with this line, and it should be fully covered. Because, well, yes, all of the output is superior to 40 parts. Half of it is not. So we know that half of it can fit into one line. So if we add from one line, there'll be just enough output to fit comfortably in the second line. That also means that we can then dedicate the materials from this last line to iron products. And currently what the iron products are isn't rods. We have steel rods, so that's salt. I think I have steel screws. I don't know. Do I have steel screws? Screws. Yes, I have steel screws. So that's also an iron product. But plates. Plates cannot be done with anything other than iron. I've not seen anything else that can do plates. Iron plates have to be iron. Okay, reinforced plates can be done with plenty of different things, but reinforced plates require plates, which require iron. So, we need that. And the second thing is that we also require wire. But I have iron wire now, which means that I can convert iron, especially when there's a large amount of it, to iron products such as iron wire and iron plates. I can't use steel wire because I don't think there is steel wire. Maybe there is steel wire. Wire. I think there's copper wire. Did I like get copper wire? No, I got infused quick wire. Oh, I don't. Yeah, there is no steel wire. There's no tooth fairy. Blah 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 blah. So there is no steel wire. Still said that I don't have Caterium wire. Caterium wire would be nice, but that's beside the point. Either way, iron wire is more expensive and produces less, as you can see here, 30 per minute versus 2.5 per minute, which is kind of silly, given the context that we have a normal copper node already working on wire. But we're doing copper alloy, so that copper is going to despection, and it is a normal node versus a pure node. So we're going to have a lot more material going toward that iron cause, meaning that we can actively spare some. Not to mention, it's a somewhat light ingredient. It's not extensively required. It's not a bottleneck in that way. So it can be somewhat alleviated. If we go over here, it's used in this, which needs 40 per minute, and used in this, which needs 30 per minute. So if we get like 88 factories working on it at 50%, then they'll be covered. Which space is nice and all. Don't get me wrong. But we can do that. Also can just keep these separate. Each one would do 300. I don't have to look at the stinking math thing. It's 900. 900 divided by 3 is thinking 300. Whoa. Sorry about that. The square root of 9 is 3. 900 is 300. It's pretty simplistic. And that... I think it's a go time on the logistics point. I'm going to work on power logistics first because it's the simplest. Especially with this all, and it's very much far more complicated once you start adding things. I could also plug over and then plug over like open pony show. Well, if we move this up, there's more space for breakdown, so I think that that's also a wise decision. So, yeah. Why are you not? So we're moving it up by 1. That gives 2. How? Just refresh it. And there we go. Color coordinated. System somewhat set up. So, I feel like I should have had more space on these pieces because they're going to have a lot of shoppage. Lots of chopping. I need 2 lines split in 2. Let's test it out here, try and get it actually... Before I do that... Again. That's going to become a whole lot more complicated to do. But... That's fine. That's going to be more complicated if I do it later. So do it now so that it doesn't become a lot complicated later. So, how do I want to stack this? Because I want it to be effectively kept within that square. I don't know how much I can do that, but I can keep it within this square. I need to. Ah, okay, so just remember, because everything comes with convenience. I have 2 outputs for each and every piece, so I need to, actively speaking, mix the copper and the iron lines to make this work. So this needs more space horizontally in this section here, because this is a space for 2 lines. I need 4 lines in order to make this work. So good thing I'm a genius, right? Remembered that before I built the entire thing. Okay. This is a quick fix. Ow! Okay, so... Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Nah, this isn't any more long... It doesn't make sense anymore! Okay, line that up, line that up. Looks funny from there, looks fine from there. these don't make sense anymore because I moved them up, and they're not exact. Like, they're exactly 4 per 4 foundations, which is weird. Like, the ratio is 4 per 4 foundations, but you can't just have. Or not 4 per 4. 4 per 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 per 5. 4 per 5 foundations. They have an exact ratio for 4 per 5. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to move these. They're bugging me. Add it all nice and fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just stuff this over here. This is my color palette. I could try that, but I don't want to do that right now. Although that would stick with the current vibe. Yeah, this one lets them lined up. And all I need to do is keep 2 lines clear. This is what it looks like to have 2 lines clear. We just need to keep 2 lines clear. And then we could just use this space here to try and break up the actual lines. Of course, not at all what I was trying to press Windows. I was trying to hit Control. Hit a bunch of different things, and that also didn't do what I wanted it to, so it's still on me, whatever. I should have been able to, at least speaking, sit down and have that done and such, but whatever. I have it set to face toward user. What is your problem? Hey. All these lined up where they should be. Great. Power. Now, of course, I could line this up to this, but that'd be an absolutely stupid decision, so we're not going to do that. This has less than 2 spaces, but sufficiently about 2 spaces. That looks sufficient from that angle. That looks sufficient from that angle. Great. So we have that all nice and hooked up. That's less than 2, but it's effectively 2 because they couldn't just stick inside of their own measurement system. They had to sit down and play funny games with it. Always one of them, isn't there? So that line set up. We got that line set up. Give 2 for this new line. And then we're off to the races. These are pointed inward. These are pointed inward. 2 space, 2 space, 2 space, 2 space, 2 space, 2 space. Okay. Awesome. So now I can use this space from below to try and break out the 3 that are for both ends, and then I can actually pull up from these different implementations to try and get the individual outputs that I so desire. Now then, let's try and break these down. So when we're talking about this, we want 4 outputs. We want to break down to 4 outputs. It'd be nice to have a vertical splitter on vertical splitter situation here. I can do that. That's not too bad, but for right now, we're going to try and center these up as best as we can. That actually does seem pretty possible right now. It does seem very possible to use some splitter on splitter action here, but first things first. Now I could do Mach 3. Mach 2 might actually be wise here, because that way I can actually get because this line here is going to require 20 times 4, which is 120. No, it's not. It's 180. It's 80 at best. This is the expensive part. That's 20. 20 times 4 is 80. It's not complicated. I'm making it complicated, but it's not complicated. So let's get this handled. 120 is well below 80, but I can't go with the conveyor types ones because um, I go with conveyor type ones because specifically they do 60 if I recall correctly. Yep, 60 resources, which is the power of a normal miner, Mach 1 miner. Power of a normal Mach 1 miner on a normal node. Unpower sharded. Which means that you can't really use a pure node later anyway. So Mach 2. Let's get to the chop shop. So, how do I want to handle this? Because I need to have 4 outputs here. I want to make it as vertical as possible. Okay, so obviously my wise decisions are coming back to haunt me. So let's make this super tall. Of course, they use reinforced plates. That's probably the stupid part. That actually is ironically expensive for me right now. Smart splitter, conveyor splitter. Conveyor splitter, smart splitter. What are you connecting to? Nothing. Great. If I put a conveyor splitter down there, I don't know what's going on here. But that's beside the point. Either way, so we've got one conveyor splitter here. Can't be too low or else it causes problems. Like it wants to join with the, Is that a thing? Can I just, like, straight up conveyor splitter to... Nope, it's just broken. So, don't like that. Let's handle this properly. This is the direction we want to go. So, conveyor splitter 1. We need, I think, 2 of them. No, we need 3. Okay, then... If I take this Mach 2, I pull it up. Okay, so... Lots of crap right now. Lots of crap that I gotta deal with. Okay, so when we're talking about this... We want this up high, we know that. And then we want... I think the second conveyor splitter we want up high too. Or the first conveyor splitter, we want that up high too. And then we take this guy, point him out. That's lowest output. I should really try and actively speaking figure this out better. But second output, third output, fourth. If only there was a way to actually like make that a little bit more brief. But it'll do for now. The only thing is that I probably want to try and figure out how to make this into a blueprint if I gotta do this 12 more times. Gradually. Especially since it isn't that briefed up. Yeah. 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 So, what's the situation with the blueprints? Special blueprint. Can I not plug it into power? Nope. Doesn't need power. Okay, so what I did back there, we need a foundation. A beautiful foundation. Looks like it'll do. Logistics calls for this. And then I call for this. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to try and keep it within that block. What we want to try and do is we're going to try and keep it within this block. So try and get the minimum space of yeah. And then let's try and get this down. So glad that everything's so simple. So I'd say this is the lowest the conveyor splitter. Probably about there. This will avail. Right. There we go. TMP shop. Shop. Select icon. Put your vertical splitters on here. There's this thing. So that. Jersey ambassador, or whatever. Select color. Green. Full saturation. Full brightness. Select color. Save. Okay, so let's try and get this chap shop set up. Blueprints, TMP chap chat. I feel like there might have been something that I missed. Seems about right. There we go. I'm so confused right now, but whatever. Yeah, seems correct. Okay, so if you look below, yeah, it's a little bit out of place, but it's fine. This all breaks down pretty cleanly into the wrong space. You know what? I don't care because all this right here is just dedicated toward outputting this way. So that's perfectly fine. Now I just gotta do that a couple of times. Um, make sure that's all nice and lined up. Yep, that seems all nice and good. That was not. Whatever. Do question what happened that the center is so far off. That's the only... Did I miss something on the stinking build plate that I'm building on accident? Load blueprint. This blueprint. Why is this so buggy? I'm so confused. Okay. So let's try and get this handled. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright. Seems pretty good. We line that up. Seems pretty lined up. Seems pretty good. A buggy bonanza, to be sure, but nothing all too bad. It's gonna... No, it thinks that I don't exist. Well, that's pleasant. These are splitters that just have a direction that you gotta look at them from. Alright. Alrighty tighty. Although I guess I could actively line these two lines up and actively join them underground, so it'd be like cleaner looking, but again, meh. Meh. Meh meh. Meh 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 meh. Meh 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 meh. Yeah, it should be fine. So, let's get back to work. Atrocity won't build itself. I still don't know why it's like so far back. That's still weird to me. So this is going in that direction. Fine. Go there. Go there. See how much I care. Yeah. But I was trying to set up this guy. So, if you don't mind, I start work on that. This is perfectly fine with no problems. I don't know why you're complaining. Oh, great. Now it thinks it's a stinking foundation. I think that's correctly angled. Yeah, it looks correctly angled. Cartwheel. That's 0. Well, at least it recognizes that factories aren't building places. No, it doesn't. It doesn't know that at all. I'm gonna need to set that up with max speed stuff too. So when I upgrade it, it doesn't have like 10,000 different things to stink and fiddle with. That's gonna be such a pain later. Anything else like this? I wonder if I use more silica or concrete. I don't know. And the ironic thing is that I have automated, like... I'm so gonna need to rework this. I'm so gonna need to rework that crap. I'm gonna need to set it up at Mach 4 just so that I don't go insane. It's begging me. It's begging me to set it up at Mach 4. It wants it. There we go. Just in case. I am gonna make a bunch of foundries anyway. More than just in case. Most probably we'll need more of that. None of it's touching the power, so if I check that, it's just gonna be the same. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what's misconfigured though. Maybe it's the 60 FPS. I think that it's the 60 FPS. Because, like, I don't think this computer's putting out, like, I don't think the stream is putting out 60 FPS. The recordings only did 30 FPS. But I don't know. It's gonna be pretty simple to upgrade that to stinking Mach. but that's beside the point. Either way. Not what I was trying to do. My jacket caught my stinking mouse, and then it sent me off to the stinking middle of nowhere. Yeah. That outchops, that outchops. I just want to see. I don't know whether to sit down and say that I'm glad that I made it smaller than the refinery, or that I'm horrified the refinery is so large. Did I do the power cords for everything? No, I did not. Got lazy, complacent. Everything seems fine, except for those two are not connected. Those two are not connected. It's fine. Okay, so last two. Right? Wrong. Last four, so... Again, how broken my flippin' stinking crap is. Gotta get a better grip on my stinking computer. You know what, that to look like that. So, I pull it back. Over. Don't know why it's so far out still. That's one of the weird things. This is like one of the few things that have done that. And I don't think I can blame Unreal Engine on that one. That seems like programmer gobbledygook to me. Not gobbledygook. Although to be fair, I could actively speaking try and set it up to where like it doesn't include the foundation hole, which I think is what's causing the complications. There we go. Just a little nudge, sometimes is all you need. So, speaking of... there we go. Back there, and does that look good? Yeah, let's move that a little bit. And I think that's that. That's that. That's that. Bleh. I'll learn English one day. I think that's it. I got spell corrected in real life. I remembered why it works. I remember from once that game. And past that, it should be. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And then I could just straight line. Do proof of concept. Concept of proof. Logistics is what I'm looking for. I want straight, please. There we go. That should keep everything clear. That seems like it works. I think that's actually a pretty good looker. I think this is a keeper. I'm probably wrong. But for now, it looks very good. I like it. Of course, if I had it up to 100%, then that's over 60 and that wouldn't work. But since we're doing 50%ers, then any upgrade that I do is probably going to be underneath in the logistics layer of squiddage, or whatever the crap I'm going to do with the heck down here. Yeah, it's decorative reinforcement here is definitely not going to bite me in the arse in a good second or two. But now I just gotta do that, like, a bunch of more times. But, on that, I don't know if there's anything else I gotta do about that crap. I'd like to do a bunch more, but whatever. I can set this up so that it'll actually, like, take the material, but I can't set it up to where it'll actually, like... That's an output. It's an output. The distance there probably gave it the required space to actually sort itself out, so I'm pretty grateful for that. So we got that all hooked up, set up, and atrocious. But this is power loading set up to where it's not spaghetti. Or power loading, not power loading, power loading. And we're gonna try and power load this next bit. Hoorah. Each one is 60, which it's a 60 line on one that requires a 20. Oh wait, no, I got this wrong. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I could do Mark II belts. Or not, Mark II belts would be useless for this recipe overarchingly. That's what I forgot. For those power shorting, then I actively speaking have it alright and good, but each one of these is 50%ed, so it's like a third. It's a third of what is required. These belts can provide. Kind of stinky for like trying to upgrade stuff and all that stuff, but it does a trick for now. Or not, it does a trick for now. It'll actively do the trick for a while. For a long time. That's the intention. Want to line that up. I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I don't like that one bit. Let's try and line these up proper. I think that'll do. Alright, so... Alright. I mean, I could have included. It would have been sensible. The last two are the last two. Okay, like. Are they for looks? Absolutely. But that's the whole point of this. I'm trying to make power loading look good. I think that actually did add to it. So, like, is it spaghetti-ish? Is it spaghetti-ish? Kind of. I mean, two inputs are always going to be a bit complicated, but I think I did pretty well. And again, it is power loading. I could have used a high power line and then just divided off 60 per, like, inch, and it probably would have been fine, but I decided to do things the hard way. So, I did. Got that all set up. My army will attack at midnight. This will take forever. But forever's not going to get any closer if we don't start doing it now. Three. Two. This is one, not two. Okay, it goes way faster than you think it does. Unless you make mistakes. Then it goes exactly how you think it does. Yeah. The real part is the weaving. Putting the conveyor belts down. The weaving. That's where it gets you. Okay. You know, I could have unlocked the super blueprint thing and just had this as a blueprint, right? I could have made this simple on myself. But that would have been weird. What kind of whack job does that? Simplicity? Okay, so we're just gonna set up this guy first. and then it should just snap. Oh, snap. There we go. Last thing on power loading. Is it ironic that this game is gonna teach me patience? Just sitting down in the middle of all this. Learning how to wait for the stinking, like, right moment to strike. I might be losing a little bit, guys. Okay. There we go. Everything nice and properly woven. Yes, there we go. The value of patience. Of time well spent. Yes, yes. Just look at how stupid this stinking thing is. Oh, I'm so proud of it. Not a drop of coffee in my cup. There we go. Teeth bonk and all. May not have it in real life, but I'll at least have it in fiction. With fictitious... Oh, whatever. I could try curve. Might be wiser. Okay, so let's get that all nice and sorted. I like it. I know that it's probably really messy and it doesn't look all too good, but to some people, but I like it. I kind of like it. It's not extensively spaghettied up, but it's sorted out. The chaos, a sorted chaos, an orderly chaos. It feels nice. Yes. Uh, I don't think anybody else likes it, but I like it. I like it. I've got one last stinking thing to hook up, and then I'll hook this. Oh, oh, that layer's prepped. Okay. So let's get this layer set up, the next layer set up, and then hook them up. And then I'll show you the progress on the basic materials. Which isn't much, but it's got a floor now. And all I need to do is set up a subfloor. A floor for my floor, you know what I mean? Except that's going to be a logistics floor. That was unnecessary. Let's get this handle. Again, it's always shorter than you think it is, but it's always, like, it's longer than I know it should be. As far as, like, how long it takes to do this. Now that is nice and comfy. Now all we need to do is line these up and hook them up. And if I need to increase the efficiency at any point, I can just try and make another track this way. And then I'll just add to that the required production. Just look at all that. Okay. Okay. I like to look. I do. I do. expected. Somebody forgot a step, and now it's gonna take longer. Stinking stupid, 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 stupid. Alright, there's that all. So let's try and get this one handled. So 2-input power loading, this is what it looks like. Jaeger snipers. Yeah. I'll hook that up in a good second. Okay. There we go. Oh, lovely. There we go. You still have to have plates in order to do things. Blah 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 blah. I need to get some plates if I'm going to continue doing this to any capacity. What's my sync time at? 10:09. 10:09. Beat 10:09. I have 21 minutes to get back. Woohoo! Oh yeah. Still working on some stuff. Still working. But this seems like it's going pretty well. So didn't really do anything. I was kind of hoping to go over to the Pink Forest and explore for a little bit, but evidently that did not happen. I'm trying to make steel production reach max capacity. I should really stow some of this stuff. Counter argument. I shouldn't. But if I can get my steel back up and running in like super capacity mode, then we're golden for a while. This should be future-proof depot filler. What's this? In my inventory. Um. Or just remove all. Okay. There we go. So this needs to be like this, or else it doesn't work. This needs to be from the outside, otherwise it doesn't work. Everything's functional over here. Everything's functional over here. Great. So now all I need is 6 lines split from... Okay, so I need... Okay. Let me think about this. Brain is doing brain things. But the brain things aren't all that useful. So, what I need is 6 lines, or 12 lines. I need 12 lines out of 1. I can split each line into 3. 3 by 3 is 9. That's not useful. But 3 times 2 is 6. The 12 lines comes from the fact that there's 2 inputs, so... Yeah, if I just chop one in half, and then chop the one that's in half in 2, then that should actually equal 6 without having to have a bunch of individual splitters. I could try and do that vertically and then lose my mind, but I think I'd much rather keep my mind sane and do it relatively normally. So, first things first, this infrastructure is now very much harmful to the overarching effort. Thankfully, there is a lot stored up within it, but it does need to go now. Another Mercer's. Don't store the stinking, extra materials that you get for the job. Why would you do that? It's not like you're gonna need to do that in a few seconds. Stop thinking so far ahead. Take all, please. There we go. Alright. Man, this thing says thirsty little honey badger, ain't it? Yes, I stole that from Deadpool. Okay, so that's gonna halt production for a little bit, but I'm pretty good with that because I'm probably gonna need to redesign production. What am I doing as far as this all goes? Mach 2s. I need 2 Mach 2s. I need 2 Mach 2s. I should have a bunch of copper wire in my system. That's great. I'm gonna need those power shards in a good second, so I'm gonna keep them around. And I'm going to remember to build my flipping thing that I'm building for building's sake. There we go. And look, a luscious little berry. How very kind of you. Nah, I can't use it right now. Mark 2, please. There we go. Alright. I think that's in the clear. In fact, both of them are. Very nice. So what we're going to want here is some encased fans. No, encased beams. Which I even still have in my inventory, but I also have an obnoxious quantity of iron plates that I just don't need in there right now. I'll need them in a good second, but for right now, I don't really need them. And an obnoxious quantity of iron ore and copper ore that I also do not need. So the way that this works is that this one produces 120, this one doesn't produce 140 or 480 yet. We're here to fix that. Now it does. So we're going to sit down. Ah. Do that for a little bit. Don't need that. Do want that. go. Now we can look those up. Next up. I'm probably just going to use the super belts, because to be blatantly clear, it's not all that bad. I could try and sort them. Like if I did that. Set the Mark IIs to point in this direction, since that's where... And then... no, and then. And then... no, then! I think what I want to do... is think. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need to think. Now, Bear Mach 4. If I do that, it's going to be messy. If I do that, it's going to be messy. If I go with that, it has a chance to be cleaned up. Okay, so Mark 4. Mirror ceiling mounts. Mirror ceiling mounts. What we want is candy and chocolate, blah blah blah, whatever the crap the munchkin said. What we want... Yeah, a lot of this is going to be very complicated, so I'm just going to probably do it offline. But for now, that actually does seem like a pretty good starting spot. If I don't fall off the flipping cliff before that. But... yeah, so I'm thinking. That's not helpful. There we go. That did the job. That's gonna do the job. What I'm thinking is I'm going to try and set that up so that it's a little bit longer like that. And then how about a conveyor splitter right there? How am I doing this to myself? It's literally a lock point, so I can actively just hook it straight up. There we go. There we go. And now I've got all of these lined up, so I can just hook this up. That, yeah. I think I'm gonna try and figure this portion out, offline. Or I could try and hook them up side by side. But that's besides the point. Like or dislike as you will. If you subscribe, welcome to the ride. Don't die, it's no fun. And toodles. Or maybe I'll try and figure it out tomorrow. I might want to figure it out tomorrow. Toodles!